Hello, students, and welcome to part 2 of our lecture on Chapter 4. We're going to start out today talking about 4 areas of innovation in the United States during this time. Remember, we're talking about the time period of 1850 to 1900. Those areas of innovation or invention are electricity, communications, steel, and railroads. Starting with electricity, we're going to start off talking about Thomas Edison. In 1876, he established a research park at Menlo Park, New Jersey. And Thomas Edison, of course, an Ohio native, he is from Ohio. His nickname was the Wizard of Menlo Park because during his lifetime he received over 1,000 patents for inventions. Now, this is amazing and remarkable because many people work their whole lives on maybe one or possibly two patents. He received 1,000 in his lifetime. By the way, what is a patent? It is a grant by the federal government giving the inventor an exclusive right to sell his product. This goes back to the concept we were talking about earlier about laissez-faire policies and about government policies. We have an incentive in this country that if a person wants to invent something, they can make a lot of money for it. And so therefore that promotes invention and discovery. And this is one of the great things about America. In 1880 was probably Thomas Edison's most famous invention, and that was the incandescent light bulb. 2 is communications. We have a list of things here. That should not say 1884. That is a mistake. But in the 1830s, Samuel Morse invented the telegraph. In 1876, Alexander Graham Bell, the telephone. And in 1896, Guglielmo Marconi invents the wireless telegraph. And this will lead to radio, which will lead to television, and so forth. So all of these communication innovations within the United States helped us to buy and sell our products and thereby helped us to become wealthier and more successful. Number 3 is steel, and there's something you need to know here, and that's the Bessemer process. Pay particular attention to that. In the 1850s, an Englishman named Henry Bessemer developed a process to make steel stronger and to make it cheaper so that companies could profit from making it and so it would work better. This Bessemer process is a process that purified iron and made steel a common commodity. It made it to where companies could make money from selling it and people could afford to buy it. Now, because of steel, skyscrapers were possible. They could build buildings taller and taller instead of making them wider and wider. So you could build very large buildings on very small areas of land. And this helped because our cities were growing by leaps and bounds. And this helped them to an extent to grow upward instead of outward. Because if they couldn't build skyscrapers, then they would eventually run out of room. So they built upward instead of outward because of steel. The Brooklyn Bridge was completed in 1883. This was the first suspension bridge, also made possible through the use of steel. And number 4 is railroads. And we have a couple inventions here we want to mention. George Westinghouse in 1869 patented air brakes, which made train travel it made it much more safe. Granville Woods in 1887 patented the railroad telegraph, so telegraphs could be sent from trains. And something very interesting, in 1884, time zones were created. Delegates from 27 different countries met in the United States and divided up the globe into 24 different time zones. Now, this was done mainly at the request of the railroad corporations because they wanted a standard time in order to make their rail travel and delivery safer and more efficient. Now, because of industrialization, many things were changed in American society. Number 1, world markets were linked. You no longer had to buy and sell in your local area or even in this country, but because of railroads, communication, and steamships, we could buy and sell all over the world. This was a big change for America. We were able to get access to many new products and make a lot more money selling our products. Number 2, our society changed. Fewer farmers were needed because of farm machinery such as Cyrus McCormick's reaper made it to where a single farmer was more productive than they were in the past. So there were fewer farmers needed. So these farmers found themselves traveling to the city looking for jobs in factories. People also had more money because they were earning wages from these factories and from the industrialization of the United States. Number 3, our environment started to be changed. One way it started to be changed was pollution. These factories started producing liquid and gas pollutants from their factories that began to hurt our environment. And because the people began to look around and see that our environment was changing, the government responded in 1872 by setting aside the first federal park which was Yellowstone National Park, to preserve nature and to start trying to help the environment. Thank you for watching part 2.